YouTube, what's going on? What it do? It's your boy Big E. We out here pulling weight. We out here pulling that weight. I'm checking in. I'm actually checking in from the yard. I'm about to go to the house, but I'm gonna talk to y'all today a little bit about the trucking, the good weeks. Everybody talks about the good weeks and how those go, but I'm gonna talk to you about the bad weeks because last week I had a week that wasn't that great. I'm gonna be quite honest. It was what I would consider a garbage week. And you have those in trucking. And a lot of people talk about how much money you can make, and they say they make $1,000 a week or $1,500 a week, $2,100 a week, whatever they make. And they say, well, I make this every week. Well, yeah, most guys, yeah, they probably do. I'm not gonna call a guy a lie, but some weeks you're not gonna make that. It's just not. If you being paid by mileage, you're gonna have ups and downs in your weeks. Some weeks you may have 3,000 miles, and another week you might have 1,000 miles, 800 miles. I had a week. I think I had almost 900 miles last week, and it wasn't really my fault. It's just the way the week turns out. Of course, for you young drivers, know this: when you go home, that automatically is set up to be a poor week, either going in or coming out, one or the other. It kind of depends on how you get paid or when you get paid, but usually that's going to set up to be not that great of a week, just because generally when they start routing you, beginning of that week, if you got a good driver manager, he's going to try to route you home, so on time. So to route you home on time, it might be a 1,200-mile run that will take you away from the house, that will get you good miles, but to get you home on time, they take a 400-mile run that's going to bring you to this location with a load that's going to take you home. So when they do that, that just costs you, that 1,200-mile run versus, the smaller runs. So then in turn, it takes your money down. I like to run my time out. A lot of people like to they'll run off recaps and stuff like that. I'm not a national driver, and I'm only on a 6-day fleet to start with. So I technically could go home every 6 days. I don't because I can't make any money doing it. Or I can't make the money I want doing it. But some people do it. Some people do it, but I like I said, I'd rather run my time out and then take a 34-hour reset, and that'll give me a rest day. And normally what I do is I run all week, and I take my 34 on a Sunday, because I like watching football, and I would watch football on Sunday. Okay, and then come Monday, I'm ready to roll again. Well, to me, it keeps yourself available where you're not limited. I don't know, old school truckers, they'll run like 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, so they'll never have to reset. And to me, it just, when they start looking at your appointment times, you gotta kind of finagle that where your appointment times lines up with that 8 to 10 hours a day type thing. And when I run regionally, and a 600-mile run where I can run it and get it on up there, it may take you an extra day to get it up there, just because you trying to play with 8 to 10 hours on a daily basis. Now, where it does come in good for those guys is they never wind up with 2 or 3 hours on a day, or not, they'll be able to run all week. They don't have days where they just gonna be sitting because they're running off recaps all the time. Okay, so needless to say, this past week I ran off recaps. Okay, so what happened to me, and this is why I don't really care to run it, is the last 2 days I've been running kind of locally to my house because I was supposed to get in on today's Friday, June the 19th. You'll be watching this video sometime after that. Well, I was supposed to get home on June 19th, so Friday, which is today. Okay, so I had a load that I was pulling out of Neosha, Missouri, that delivered down here in the area. I'm from Dallas. It delivered in Garland, Texas, if you know where that's at. Okay, so I started my clock out. I was just outside of Joplin, Missouri. I was a little area called Afton, Oklahoma, is where I started my day at on the day I was supposed to deliver in Garland. Well, they also wanted to book me on a load to pick up in Louisville, Texas, which is also a suburb of Dallas, and then deliver it in New Caney, Texas, at the Walmart. But it all needed to be done on what was Wednesday, the 17th. So it was supposed to be done all on the 17th. Well, I was running out of recaps, so I only had 11 hours left on my 70 or my 14. It was the same thing because I was running off recaps. Okay, so I started off in Afton. From Afton to Garland was 311 miles, 5 hours, give or take. Okay, so you got 5 hours down there. It was a drop and hook, but you got to plan for anything to happen. So you need to plan for at least 30 to 45 minutes on a drop and hook to drop the trailer. I mean, it could be quicker. It could be a place where you go in, take you about 15, 20 minutes to drop the trailer, find you empty, and keep it moving. But you can't plan for it to be that way because it doesn't always end up that way. So you add that on, so let's just say 30 minutes, so that's 5 hours and 30 minutes. And then I was supposed to pick up in Louisville. Well, Louisville from Garland is like 30, 40 minutes, 30 minutes. Just go 30 minutes. So you put 30 minutes onto that. That makes that 6 hours. Okay, so then I was going to Kellogg's in Louisville. So Kellogg's, their process, I know what their process is. Sometimes you can come right in the gate, check in with the guard. They give you where you're dropping your empty, picking up your loaded. But then when you come back, you got to go into the office to pick up your paperwork. Okay? Go into the office to pick up the paperwork. You may have a line, you may not have a line. When you get to the guard shack, you got to break your doors open because they have a seal on it. You have to break that seal off. The guard's gonna put on a seal. So it's been times where I busted in there, went in there and got right back out. And then there's been times where I had a line to get in. So you got to give it at least an hour. And if they're on break, then nobody's working on break. So you're not gonna get your paperwork if they're on break. So give that at least an hour. So that turns into 7 hours. And then it was roughly probably about 250 something miles down to New Caney from Louisville. So you're looking at least another 4.5 hours. This truck only goes 65 miles an hour. So then if you add that on to 7, you come up with what, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you're right at 11 hours. So I had no wiggle room. Couldn't, if there was any traffic backed up or anything like that, it was gonna screw me. So I had to deny that load, and because I've ran that load several times, so I know how it goes. It's one of those things where you run that load, and then you're gonna pick up at they got a little furniture place in Houston that I end up picking up at, bring it back. And I would have got in probably today or something. Well, I would have got in yesterday, delivered this morning sometime, more than likely. But I couldn't do it because I didn't have the hours on my 70-hour clock, and it all led from the week before. The week before, I had a load that, and this is how, lack of better words, my planner last week. It was not just on my planner's fault. Between shipper and planner, it wasn't a good week. And when I say it wasn't a good week, mechanically this truck, I had to have it worked on, had a check engine light on. So we have a Freightliner tech here at our site, in my home terminal, and he worked on it, but he only works Monday through Friday. So when I got in on last Thursday, it's the Thursday before last. When I got in on the Thursday before last, I was thinking he was going to be able to get to it on Friday, and he wasn't able to get to it on Friday, apparently. I put it in the truck late Thursday night, and I was actually off that Friday, but he couldn't get to it. So what ended up happening was he didn't get to it till Monday, and he finished late Monday evening. And I called myself going to leave out Tuesday. Okay, so Monday after he finished doing the work, which would have been not this past Monday, but the Monday before that. Tuesday I left out. I had a load, and it was what we call a T-car. So it's a T-car. What is basically they drop the trailer at the terminal here where I'm at now, and and you pick it up and you take it the rest of the way. So I had one going to Jonesboro, Arkansas. So I took that one up to Jonesboro. Everything went well. Dropped it on Tuesday. I was pre-planned on a load that was supposed to pick up the next morning, the next afternoon, like around 2 o'clock. It was supposed to be a live load, and I was supposed to pick it up in Memphis, Tennessee, which from Jonesboro, it's about 50 miles, 50 miles to Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, I was going to pick that one up, and I was supposed to go up somewhere in Wisconsin, up near Minneapolis. Okay, so around 11 o'clock, my asset manager or my driver manager lets me know that they were going to have to cancel me off of that load because they reset the pickup time. So then they have to scramble to get me a load. Okay, so what they end up doing is they got me a load pulling out of Morrilton, Arkansas, which it was I think it was like 100-something mile deadhead. It wasn't far, and then it was 200 and maybe 80 or something miles to Tulsa, which is where it delivered at. So I scrambled, grabbed that load, went up to Tulsa, and the load was supposed to deliver in Tulsa the next day. It was a live unload. Every time I go to Morrilton, I know it's going to be a live unload. If it goes up to Tulsa, it's Green Bay packing. They get you in and get you out pretty quickly, but it's live. Okay, so I stayed in Tulsa that night, which for other Crete drivers, and they got the little drop yard in Tulsa. It's a nice little drop yard. If y'all ever in Tulsa and don't want to stay at the truck stop, want something quiet, halfway nice, hey, that is quiet over there. It's nice, out of the way, you know. But then, yeah, I dropped in Tulsa the next morning. So after that, I got a pre-plan to pick up in Inola, Oklahoma, which is about roughly 30-40 miles from where I delivered to in Tulsa. Okay, that load was supposed to pick up in Inola, and it was supposed to go all the way up to Cheyenne, Wyoming. So it was good miles. Okay, so but it didn't pick up till I believe it was 2:30, 2:30, and it was going to be a live load. So I get there, I give them my pickup number, and the place where I was supposed to pick up, they didn't recognize the pickup number. So then I called my dispatch and told them, it's like, well, this is it. So the security guard there, they was like, well, I'm going to call over shipping. I'm going to see if they can look into it. So shipping looked into it, and they told me, well, that's not a good one. So I went back to my driver manager and let her know, which she let what they call CSR know, because the customer relationship manager, and they looking at it and they determine, well, hey, that's the number to security, and just confirm. And they was like, yeah, you're there, you're there. So I let them know, hey, yeah, I'm where I'm supposed to be, but they're saying that this number don't work, So I was over there for roughly about 6 hours, and I get a message over my people net saying that somehow the pickup number they got and picked up in Oklahoma was actually a pickup number that the customer had for Nevada. So how it transpired like that, I have no idea. But it cost me 6 hours of sitting there, So they were like, well, we're gonna work on getting you something else. So they got me a load that picked back up in Tulsa, and was supposed to deliver here back in the Dallas area in Arlington on the next morning, like 9:00 a.m. So I was already into 6 hours into off duty, waiting for them to figure out what was going on in this. So I just went ahead and did another. I think I stayed there about 5 hours or so, and then I went back up to Tulsa to pick that load up at the drop yard there, because it was a T-car, and I got it back to Arlington the next morning. But which the next morning was last Friday, a week ago. But that's how I only ended up with like 800 miles in a week. So it happens, and when it happens, a lot of times it's not in your control. I couldn't control when they got finished with my truck. They didn't get finished with it till Tuesday, so I already lost a day's worth of work on Monday, because I normally go out on Mondays. I've already lost a day's worth of work. So then, with the screw up in the scheduling or the rescheduling of the load, that cost me time on that load, which that was going to be a good mileage load. It was like 800 miles up to Wisconsin, and then what happened with the load that was supposed to go to Cheyenne, it was like 600 something miles. So and it was supposed to deliver on Friday. So it just one of those things where the situation screws you. It happens in trucking. Every week you're not gonna make bring home $1,000, 2,000, whatever that big astronomical number that most drivers tell you that they make. You know, it don't happen like that every week. You're gonna have bad weeks in trucking. You know, the thing about it is to get a planner and a schedule that's consistent. You know, if you can get a scheduler and a planner that's consistent and moves you pretty good, which I do. You know, my asset manager, driver manager is pretty good. I mean, you know, she doesn't plan the load. She just makes sure that they keep me moving and try to be more as beneficial for me as it can. Some weeks it doesn't happen, but I can always go to her and tell her, well, this is not going to be beneficial for me. And for the most part, she's worked for me to make sure I got something that worked out. And like I said, you know, I've been in the Dallas area running little stuff around to try to accommodate this week for the fact that that I was running out recaps and couldn't make that Houston load or that New Caney load. So she does do a good job at working on my behalf. I can't knock her on that. But last week situation and my planner maybe failed me a little bit. You know, it didn't even a little bit this week. You know, with that Houston load, with me being on recaps. But you know, it is what it is. So I say all that to say that every week is not going to be a great week. You know, sometimes you're going to have bad weeks. You have to be ready for those. So those weeks that you make great weeks, you know, don't spend all that money. You know, you know, keep you some money on the side in case something happens. Because in essence, you know, the way you run your truck is almost like you own a truck. You run your truck, so the way you need to run it. So when it goes out into the shop, you know, a lot of times, unless your company gives you a loaner truck, then that means your money's gonna be short. Just like if you own the truck, you know. So if you're a company driver and you're just starting out, or you're a company driver and you're not just starting out and you've been driving for a little bit, understand that your truck is pretty much, it's almost like it's your truck, because you fight. The only thing you don't absorb is the cost. But when the truck is down, it's costing you money too. So a lot of guys don't care about the equipment that they drive. Take care of the truck that you're in is the moral of the story. Because well, not the moral of the story, but the moral of what I'm trying to say right now. Take care of your truck, because in the end, it's gonna cost you money if it's down. You know, just like it being in the shop kind of cost me some money. You know, but I ain't gonna keep rambling and going on about it. I still need to let y'all know about how things have been going in the Corona era, you know, of trucking, and how it's treated me. And I'll probably make a video about that and let you guys know. But if you have not, and I didn't say it at the beginning, but if you have not, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. If you got topics you want me to talk about, list them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to speak on it. And again, just know that your boy out here, we pulling weight, bro. We pulling weight. And just know this, y'all out here, be safe, do what you do, but more importantly, you know, watch your backs in this climate. There's a lot going on in the country today. You know, watch yourself, take care of yourself, and be safe out there. And God bless y'all.